John, please.
Mr. President, can you tell us what you plan to do regarding sanctions against China for its pending actions against Hong Kong? And do you also intend to put restrictions on F and J visas for students and researchers coming into the United States from China?
Your question's early. We're doing it now. We're doing something now. I think you'll find it very interesting, but I won't be talking about it today. I'll be talking about it over the next couple of days, John. Okay? But it's a very important question. Please.
Mr. President, there's a bill in Congress that's related to the Uyghurs. It passed the Senate. It's going to be up in the House. Are you willing to sign that?
We're taking a look at it very strongly. They're going to report this afternoon. I'll be looking at it this afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. President. We see in Europe slowly from one country to the other, they are opening their borders and letting people going from moving from one country to the other. Are you considering, for the good of the U.S. economy, are you considering lifting the flight ban from Europe in the next weeks?
Well, we're just putting a ban on, as you know, going on immediately, essentially, almost immediately, to Brazil and from Brazil into our country. So from Brazil to the United States, they're having a very hard time in Brazil. We'll be doing certain announcements on other countries, including Europe, as we move along. And where they're making progress, we'll start to open it up. But only where they're making progress. They're making some good progress. I think we're making very good progress. We're making very good progress on the economy. The numbers are better than anybody would have anticipated. And certainly I think that's been reflected in the stock market, which had a very big day, and it's over 25,000. And when you think 25,000 is a very high number, when you think that it was at 29,000 and now it's at 25, that's a very big day. It's up very substantially over the last 6 months. So we had a very big day, but people are seeing what's happening. They're seeing there is a pent-up demand, as I was predicting, and you're going to see it more and more. We call it the transition to greatness, and it really is. We're going to have a third quarter that's going to be good. We're going to have a fourth quarter that has the potential to be really good, and we're going to have the best year, one of the best years we've ever had next year. That's what we see.
About mail-in voting, you've been speaking out against that a lot.
You mean mail-in voting?
Yeah.
Not
You've been speaking a lot about that.
Yeah.
Why should somebody who is afraid of getting coronavirus, going to public places, standing in a line, etc., why should they Why should they not be allowed to do mail-in?
Well, that's going to be in a long time from now. Number one, it's quite a ways away. Number one, but when you do all mail-in voting ballots, you're asking for fraud. People steal them out of mailboxes. People print them, and then they sign them, and they give them in. And the people don't even know, or they're double counted. People take them away. They force people to vote. They harvest. You know what harvesting is? They take many, many ballots, and they put them all together, and then they just dump them, and nobody has any idea whether they're crooked or not. Look, you do mail-in voting. Now, it's another thing to do absentee voting. Or if somebody has a medical condition where they go through a process and they get an absentee ballot, that's okay. That's different. But in California, the governor sent, I hear, or is sending millions of ballots all over the state, millions, to anybody, people that aren't citizens, illegals, anybody that walks in California is going to get a ballot. We're not going to destroy this country by allowing things like that to happen. We're not destroying our country. This has more to do with fairness and honesty, and really our country itself. Because when that starts happening, you don't have a fair, you have a rigged system. You have a rigged system, and that's what would happen. So mail-in ballots, and the governor of California did better than I could ever do in terms of explaining. When he sent out, or will send out, and I don't know, I think it's maybe partially already done, millions and millions of ballots to anybody in California that's walking or breathing, many of those people don't have the right to vote. Well, they'll be voting. And you know what? We're not going to let it happen because you're subverting our process and you're making our country a joke. And the Democrats are doing it because in theory it's good for them, although last week we won two big races. We won in Wisconsin and one in California. California 25. We won a tremendous race in California. That was interesting because at the end of the race they brought in the Democrat governor, same governor. He brought in voting booths, not mail-in voting booths, because they were losing. They saw that through the ballots. But no, you can't do that. You can't do the mail-in ballots because you're going to have tremendous fraud. And remember what I said. They'll be grabbing them from mailboxes. They'll even be printing them. They'll use the same paper, the same machines, and they'll be printing ballots illegally. And they'll be sending them in by the hundreds of thousands, and nobody's going to know the difference. We can't do that. You want to vote, you really have to. Absentee is okay. You're sick. You're away. As an example, I have to do an absentee because I'm voting in Florida and I happen to be president. I live in that very beautiful house over there that's painted white. So that's okay. And it's okay for people that are sick and they can't get up, something, something. But voting is a great honor. It's a great honor. And people love to go out and vote. And I want to keep it that way. And if we don't keep it that way, we'll have nothing but a rigged system in this country. We can't do that. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.